There's an old expression, "It ain't what it used to be," a term used to describe something that no longer is held in high esteem, something that has ceased to be that which it once was. Sadly, radio has fallen to a very low ebb. Creativity has given way to mush, or worst, hate. Whatever it is no longer uplifting, no longer fun, and that's very sad. People are ready for a change. From my Sunday show 1974, here's Share a Memory. And as you listen, think about this show running opposite of Rush Limbaugh today. Which would you rather listen to? And remember, this show is over 30 years old.
We thought this afternoon it might be interesting for some early recollections of how Kentucky was and how things used to be. If you have some early recollections, memories, or memoirs, why don't you share them with us? This would be an ideal time for some of the old-timers to join in this afternoon. Mrs. Bain-Taylor, you have recollections?
Yes, I do.
What recollections do you have? What are the ones that stick in your mind?
Well, this predates the flood, the 1937 flood. But this is 1929 when the American Legion National Convention was held here.
Mm-hmm.
And the veterans were poured in by thousands, and they had a lot of fun and a lot of jokes. They tried to embarrass everybody on the streets, and I'll tell you where everybody was.
Was that in Louisville?
Yes, in Louisville. And when they had the parade, though the town was just open to them, everybody took it good-naturedly, but surely it was fun. And the parade, though, was the biggest event that I had ever been in, and a lot of people had seen, you know.
How big was it?
Oh, it took 4 hours, I think, to pass 3rd and Broadway. And it came down from Oak Street, down 3rd, turned at 3rd and Broadway, went to 4th and Broadway, and turned on to 4th Street, and went right on down to the river, I guess.
Huh.
And the streets were decorated with flags and bunting. And the people were just applauding the veterans.
What do you think? Do you think that patriotism has dwindled in America since then?
Yes, it has. And I just wish we'd have more show of patriotism nowadays, but we don't seem to.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we will. We're still hoping.
Mrs. Taylor, thanks for calling and sharing your memories.
You're very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
WHAS?
Yes, I'd like to add a little bit to the 1929 parade.
Yes.
I don't remember the parade too well, but I do remember the veterans being here. And the thing that stands out in my mind is of course, the Brown Hotel was really plush at that time and very beautiful. But the veterans had, I don't know if there was a pony or a mule or exactly what it was, but they took that thing in the Brown Hotel.
Inside the hotel?
Inside the hotel, all around, and took it on the elevator upstairs.
I wonder what the hotel management thought about that.
Well, the veterans took over. There wasn't anything they could say.
All right, in 1929, we had something to do with the stock market, right?
Yes.
And did this parade occur before or after the stock market crash?
Oh, wow. I'm not that old. I'm old, but not that old.
I was curious from the standpoint of here, you know, we have perhaps a catastrophic situation for millions of Americans, and if they could still respond like this under that type of duress.
Of course, the crash, I heard about it and like that, but it really didn't affect me right then.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't old enough to know.
Mm-hmm.
And the parade, of course, I remembered.
Right. What's the name? I didn't get the name.
Lemoyne Sable.
Lemoyne Sable?
Uh-huh.
All right, Mrs. Sable, I appreciate your call.
Okay.
Have a happy day.
The same to you.
Bye-bye. Ray Flam, you wanted to talk about 1934?
Yes, sir.
What happened in 1934 in Kentucky?
1934 was a very large veterans parade.
Ah.
And the veterans are, now I'm not a veteran. I'm a veteran, but I don't belong to the veterans organization.
Right.
But they were here and had one terrific parade, and it went through 4th Street also.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the World Series in St. Louis on Friday. When it ended, when saw Dizzy Dean pitch on Sunday, and I rode back with all the men who are all the veterans, and one fella gave me a $20 bill to take care of him and be sure that he got off of the train in St. Louis. And that's the reason I remember.
That Dizzy Dean, that was before his broadcasting career, right?
Yes, sir. Dizzy Dean pitched on a Sunday afternoon and lost 2-1 and jumped up and down, on the seat of his pants, just beating the ground when, I forget who it was with Detroit, hit a home run.
Was he?
He was leading 1-0 going into about the 8th inning. And they just, that home run just fixed it up for him.
So you could see some of Dizzy Dean's personality coming through way back before his broadcasting days.
Yes, sir. And then talking about the Brown Hotel, I remember I shook hands with Lindbergh coming out the 4th Street entrance.
Lindbergh was here in Louisville?
1927.
Wow.
Yes, sir. He came out of he stayed in the Brown Hotel overnight.
And let's see, when did he make his famous flight? What year was that?
I guess it was 27.
27. So this was after that as he made his whirlwind tour of the United States.
That is right, sir. Yes, sir. And I was born in 15, but I shook hands with him, and I thought it was a great, great honor.
Was there a large crowd there?
Oh, 4th Street was blocked. And when he came out the side, they had the touring car, open touring car for him to ride in, and I don't remember a parade or if they had a parade or not. I think they did. But I do remember the most important thing was shaking hands with him.
Do you know if he flew in?
I couldn't say. No. You know, talking about flying in and talking about Lindenberg, we used to go to Bowman Field when I was a little boy and watch the mail plane leave on Sunday afternoon. It left about 4 o'clock. And this pilot would come out with his boots and his knickers and his leather jacket and his goggles and helmet, and the mail would come in, the mail truck, and they would rush over and dump it in this single-seater, and off he'd go. And we thought it was something else.
Well, I wouldn't want to say it, but maybe mail moved faster then than it does now.
It could be so. Yeah, but you could depend on that plane leaving about 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Right. I was curious now. It seemed that in that time span and all through America up until that time, we've had national heroes.
Right.
Lindbergh being one.
Right.
I wonder what has happened. We don't seem to have the national heroes that we once had.
No. I think the world, especially the United States, has just gone at too fast a pace. And they don't have time to think. One thing, their mind is busy with television and various things like that, where back then we had a crystal set.
Right.
And we listened to radio.
Right.
And there were maybe 4 earphones if we were lucky, and everybody had one earphone and listened to the radio, but we had time to think. And today we just don't have time to sit and reflect on what is going on,
right.
I think.
Ray, I want to appreciate your call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheryl, you were talking about your father and his magic what?
Still.
Still?
Well, I think the story's kind of amusing.
Your father now,
Right.
in bygone years, of course,
Right.
and before the big Reformation,
Right.
worked or owned the still.
He had one of the biggest stills in the city, I understand, during Prohibition.
Okay.
And, as nobody could take a bath for like 3 months, something like that, because of the gin brewing. But there's a story that the still broke down one day, and he had to take it to the blacksmith shop.
Cart the whole still to the blacksmith shop?
Well, there was a problem. He couldn't cart it because the blacksmith shop was on the other side of the police station.
Uh-huh.
So the only way they could get it there without being, suspicious about it, they put the still, the part that was broken, in the baby buggy. And, of course, in those days, you know, people had 8, 10 children, so they kept the baby buggy.
Right.
And they had his little sister, who is now a very prim and proper lady. But at the time, she was 7, and she pushed the baby buggy past the police station because no one would think that a young, innocent child would be pushing a still to the blacksmith shop.
Certainly not.
No. And this is how they had to get the still repaired. They had to sneak it by the police station in a baby buggy.
What year was this?
I don't know. When was Prohibition? In 31?
Yeah.
It was a little bit before my time, so this is a second-hand story, but I have no reason to disbelieve it.
Cheryl, thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Mrs. S.W. Kellerman, you wanted to speak about what event?
Yes, have you ever heard of Wrong Way Carrigan?
Of course, everyone. Half our staff, I think, are descendants, including myself.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, he was here in town in 1939.
In 39?
Yes, and they had a parade out Bardstown Road and to Bowman Field. And in the evening, probably in the day too, they would take up passengers in his plane for $1 a piece and would take you over the city.
Now, I've heard, tell me, was Wrong Way Carrigan, was he a football player or a flyer?
He was a pilot.
He was a pilot.
And he was flying, he was in New York, and he was going to go to California.
Yeah?
And ended up in England. That's why he's called Wrong Way Carrigan.
Well, now, there was a movie, I believe, about a football player.
Yes.
That had the same name, I think, or something. And that was where the confusion came on my part. But Wrong Way Carrigan was a pilot.
Yes.
And
he headed from, he was left New York and headed for California and ended up in England. Now, how that plane ever made it to England, I'll never know because I was scared to death when I went up in there.
You flew in the plane?
Yes, my husband and I, we weren't married at the time, we were dating, and we went out and went up in this plane and took us all over the city of Louisville, and for $1 a piece.
What kind of plane was it?
I don't know.
But
it was wooden and it was real rickety, you know.
Did it have 2 wings?
Oh, yeah. 2 wings and a propeller, and I think that's about all. But it was fun.
Well, we've had many famous celebrities visit Louisville, haven't we?
Yes.
Lindbergh and Wrong Way Carrigan. Well, son of a gun. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. We are soliciting comment and thoughts of bygone days in Kentucky, reminiscing a little bit, I suppose. Mr. Bryant, you wanted to reminisce about the 37 flood?
Yeah, I hadn't heard anybody tell you yet. Do you know, in the 37 flood, do you know where the used to be the old normal school up on Broadway above Barrett?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Well, you know where Barrett Avenue is?
Right.
All right, up on the hill there, about 300 feet, you could get in wait just a second. Tom, Miss Smith's at the door.
Now, Barrett Avenue is where the hospitals are now, aren't they?
Yeah,
up there?
Broadway.
Right.
Barrett and Broadway. You could get in the boat there, and you could ride to Shawnee Park.
In a boat?
Right straight down Broadway. Yes, sir. And the fellow was telling you about him taking a pony into the lobby at the Brown Hotel.
Right.
Well, he's passed away now, but I know a fellow that rode a boat through there.
Through the Brown Hotel during the 37 flood?
That's right. Through the lobby of the Brown Hotel.